Hey, Adam Lovell here from the Pro Wrestling Noah Network. Of course, we're going to talk about the show from earlier this morning here on the East Coast, anyway, last night in Japan. Noah's Sunny Voyage, May 24th, 2025. Opening match up was Kazuyuki Fujita and Shuhei Taniguchi versus Asuka and Junto Miyawaki. A little bit of a mismatch looking at it size-wise, looking at it weight and strength-wise. It looked like Fujita and Taniguchi should have this in hand, right? But we're talking about Taniguchi, who I feel like would stumble over his feet if just walking down the street. I don't hate Taniguchi. I think Taniguchi has always had the ability to be a star. I'm not talking about multiple time GHC champion or something, but he's never hardly ever been used right. When he was Maibach Taniguchi, that was probably the closest he's ever come to being a major player. I don't really have a problem that he's not a major player. I just have a problem with he seemingly bumbles around doing random stuff. One day he's a comedy wrestler, one day he's a serious wrestler, one day he's a masked wrestler. He's just there, and he's there to lose all the time. And like I said, I don't care terribly because he's not like one of my favorites. But it's just, you know what's going to happen anytime he's in a ring. And he's in there with Kazuyuki Fujita, old Ironhead, one of the legit best, I don't know of all time, but definitely, a very solid, good, multiple time IWGP champion, GHC heavyweight champion. Whether you liked his reign or not, he's legit as they come. Asuka and Miyawaki are a great junior tag team, and they're great single junior wrestlers, but they won this, and they shouldn't have, honestly, just by looking at it. Now, it would have hurt Asuka and Miyawaki to have lost this, so I understand why they won it. They double-teamed Taniguchi so many times, it was ridiculous. He couldn't overcome it. I mean, he did throw them around because he's big and he's bad and he's strong, right? But he's stupid. And I don't mean legitimately, I don't know the man, but his gimmick clearly is that he's a dummy, right? He's got all the strength in the world, but he's too stupid to know how to use it. And I would have rather this have been Fujita against Asuka and Miyawaki, but Fujita would have beat him. That's why they didn't do that, right? Fujita had to have a partner so that partner could take the loss. So Asuka and Miyawaki could stay high in the junior tag scene, which this will help them do, beating two big heavyweights like this, right? But entertainment-wise, enjoyment-wise, this would have been much better seeing Fujita just beat the shit out of two juniors who couldn't do anything to him, like we caught a small glimpse of during this match. When Fujita was in there, Asuka and Miyawaki couldn't even make him take a bump. They couldn't hurt him, they couldn't move him, they couldn't budge him. They tried, but they couldn't. And I enjoyed that part of the match, and I'm not even here to say this match was bad. It was okay for an opener. It got the crowd ready and warmed up, I suppose. But I'm just kind of tired of Taniguchi because he's meaningless. He's there to take losses, and I know you need wrestlers like that, but I guess I'm just tired of it being him. And I'm not saying I want him to be a star. I'm just tired of him. This match was what it was. Asuka and Miyawaki beat up Taniguchi, double team him as much as they can to eventually bewilder and befuddle him and pin him as Fujita is angry and frustrated watching it all go down. Okay. Come on, Noah. Again, we're talking about the second match of Noah's Sunny Voyage for May 24th, 2025. Masa Kitamiya, awesome wrestler. Saxon Huxley, great wrestler. Black Menso Ray, freaking joke comedy. Yuck it up. Let's laugh at wrestling. Cha, 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 cha. Give me a damn break. I watch Noah, and I love Noah because it has been the serious company. Have they ever done anything funny? Of course. That's not what I'm talking about. I turn on Noah so I don't have to watch nonsense like Black Menso Ray. Okay? I'm not even saying get the guy out of wrestling. Let him go work for DDT or one of these other companies that love their comedy shit. Okay? That's why I changed my name here on X, on Twitter, if you will, to the Snob of the Ark. I'm a wrestling snob, and I'm a proud wrestling snob. And you can't put me down for it. You can try, but I'll just embrace it as a compliment. I don't watch wrestling to get my yucks and giggles and laughs. I watch wrestling to see badass guys beat the living hell out of each other. That's what I watch wrestling for. And you can be Dwayne The Rock Johnson and tell me how it's all a work and it's always been a work and it's still real to me and make fun of me till the cows come home. But I just see you as the asshole in that situation, not me. I want to love and respect professional wrestling. I don't want to see it presented as goofy comedy, happy hour variety show. Noah, no. What was the point of this? Saxon Huxley versus Masa Kitamiya. Now, they squared up after the match, after Saxon Huxley gave the hanging choke to Black Menzo Ray and pinned his ass. If anybody cares, I don't. Saxon Huxley won this ridiculous match against a clown. Oh, big accomplishment. You pinned a child. Someone who acts like a child, anyway. But when Masa Kitamiya and Saxon Huxley squared up at the end of this for just a couple seconds and then went their respective ways, that would have been a match. Now, someone's going to say, oh, you got to save that for the big shows, Adam, for the PLE pay-per-view quality type. Oh, whatever. We could have had a match between them two that was a throwaway that led to a bigger match. Black Menzo Ray came in here and just screwed what could have been a great Noah-style match, screwed it up and made it into a sports entertaining WWE DDT, and at this point, New Japan, with Taniguchi over there having his opponents stick their head in his frickin' tights. I saw that on Twitter. I didn't watch that shit. I don't want Noah to evolve into one of these silly, ridiculous companies that does things for shits and giggles. And that's all Black Menzo Ray is for. No, thank you. Trash. The third match from Pro Wrestling Noah's Sunny Voyage, May 24th, 2025, was a good six-man matchup. This was the first match that I greatly enjoyed. Kaito Kiyomiya, Alejandro, and Kai Fujimura, All Rebellion, took on Eita, Super Crazy, and Daiki Odashima. What a team. I'm a huge fan of Daiki Odashima and Eita. I mean, I like all these guys, but some of them inspire a special passion within inside of me. And Daiki Odashima is one of those rookies that you watch and you just salivate, knowing how good this kid's going to be. I mean, he's great already. He's great. He's in there with some of the best in this company, and he's hanging right with them. Imagine in another couple of years just how incredible this kid's going to be. Eita, I put this on Twitter on X. I'll never get used to calling it X. Sorry. Musk, Elon Musk. I'll just never get used to it. But Eita is amazing. The Noah fans know it. I mean, they chant his name. They like him. Heel, face, doesn't matter. The fans know how great Eita is. One of the best junior heavyweights in the world. Arguably the best junior heavyweight. Honestly. And crazy, super crazy. He's modified his style. Yeah, he's old now. He's an old man. Call him what you will. He isn't doing the moves he used to do. But he's a brutalizer. He goes in there and beats people up. And I love it. Kaito Kiyomiya, pretty boy guy who had one of the best matches for my taste. One of the last shows where he just wrestled Ozawa and lost. I think that was one of the best. I think it was the best Kaito Kiyomiya match I've seen, honestly. The one against Muta was good. Don't get me wrong. He brought out an edge in his last match. I didn't really see it here. And him and Kai Fujimura look so much alike with a distant camera. It's ridiculous. Sometimes it's hard to tell them apart. Alejandro's the guy in the mask, so, he's easy to pick out here. But this was fast. This was furious without being too fast and too furious. It was fun without being silly. And they broke the tag team rules a little bit too much, but even that wasn't as bad as it so often is. But I know I've got to let go of the idea that tag team rules are ever going to be strictly enforced again. It's never going to happen in any company again, not strictly. Some companies do it better than others. I don't watch goofy WWE anymore. I tried for over a year. But I think they do it better than just about anybody. But for the most part, it's just come in as you please and do what you please and then get out of the ring. But the ref ain't strictly enforcing a 5 count anywhere. But this wasn't too bad. It happened, but not as bad. But it was really good. You knew what was going to happen here. Daiki Odashima was going to lose, and he lost to Kai Fujimura. Kai Fujimura lost in his last match, so he needed a win here, and he got it. Instead of giving the win to Kaito Kiyomiya, which you easily could have done, let the ace get the win. They allowed Kai Fujimura to defeat Daiki Odashima here. And while it gets kind of hard or sort of sad to watch Daiki Odashima lose constantly, that's how it works over in Japan, and I get it. I understand these young lions, even though that's a New Japan term, I know, come in and do nothing but lose for quite a while until they get in an excursion or something, and then they come back as a bigger deal. And that will happen with Daiki Odashima eventually. But overall, great match. Third match of the show. So we're really getting to a warm up, really getting hype, really getting into things now. And I'm settled down and excited for a Pro Wrestling Noah show. Solid stuff here. Big win for All Rebellion. Hey, let's take a look at the fourth match from Sunny Voyage Pro Wrestling Noah, May 24th, 2025. It was a nice tag team match that saw Tadasuke and Owada-san from Team 2000X, those dirty buggers, taking on Atsushi Katogi and Hajime Ohara of Team Noah. Pretty solid work here. I really like Ohara. I always have. Katogi, I'm fine with, but I always felt like Katogi's just sort of there. You know, he's won some titles. I think he's been the GHC junior champion and part of the junior tag champions a few times, I believe. I'm not putting him down. He's a solid worker, has a decent look, but I just sort of feels like he's just floating around doing whatever. Tadasuke has bounced around from faction to faction, unit to unit, like few others I've ever seen in my life. He spent a short while as a babyface as part of the Rattels, but most of the time he's been a heel. Congo, now Team 2000X. Owada-san, out of the four of these guys, to me, is the brightest star. He's got a future. I think so. He's still pretty young. He still could be considered a young lion. And again, that's a New Japan term, forgive me. But to help people understand, he's definitely still a rookie, but he has a great look. He's a good wrestler. He sells terrifically. I like him. I like him a lot, and so I concentrated on here. I sort of think he's wasted in a heel group, but, you know, let him have some fun for now. Tadasuke is who Tadasuke is, even though this Team 2000X version of Tadasuke is pretty different. He's not trying to be a star, look like a superstar or a rock star. You know, he is being somewhat badass, but he's the guy running around with a chair just willingly, you know, saying, I'm going to hit whoever in hell I want with this. You know, I've gotten to a point in my career where I'll win by any means necessary. And that's what happened here. Owada-san was tied up like a pretzel by Hajime Ohara, who is famous for that, for all his twists and locks and submission maneuvers. He is terrific at this, and he had Owada-san tied up and definitely was going to lose here. Yoshitatsu does what he does best. He's the manager of Team 2000X, for those of you who don't know. And yes, that Yoshitatsu, yes indeed, paints half his face now, sucks on a lollipop. That's his thing now, the manager of Team 2000X. I don't think I've seen him wrestle since he took over that gig, but I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But he distracts the ref. Tadasuke comes in with, no, it might have been Owada-san. One of them came in with their police club, if you will, their billy club, hammered old Hajime Ohara over the head and gave him the big nut shot. That was definitely Tadasuke. He loves to hit people in the nuts. You know, again, he's just playing the bad guy, the typical over-the-top bad guy, hit you with a chair, crotch shot you, do anything he can. And he doesn't care. He has an attitude about it. I will do whatever in the hell I want to do. And if I got a manager that will distract the ref while I do it, all the better. But I'll do it right in front of the ref. He's the I don't give a shit guy. He comes in, pulls it off, allows, you know, Ohara to eat the pin after that and give the win to Team 2000X. What I did notice, while the fans do love Ozawa, the leader, not the manager, the leader of Team 2000X, he is over as hell in Japan, no doubt about it. The fans didn't pop much for this. You know, they like Ozawa, but his cohorts don't get the pop that he does. The fans booed, and of course that's how it's supposed to be. They're heels. I get it. But Ozawa's a heel and gets cheered. His cronies are heels and get booed. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a major problem or some big issue Noah absolutely has to deal with, but I think it's slightly problematic. Slightly. Ozawa is too light as a babyface, in my opinion. Still great. Still a great wrestler and amazing for Noah, but I don't know. His teammates are booed, as should be, and Ozawa is often cheered. But what have you. Big win for Team 2000X here in a decent match. I mean, I can't rave about it because it ended in malarkey, but that's what heels do, right? So congratulations, Team 2000X, for your shit and getting you the win, I guess. Hey, the fifth match from May 24th, 2024, Pro Wrestling Noah was Keno, Ulka Sasaki. They are the GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, and they're teaming with Kenta, of course, to take on the Passionate Ratels Manabu Soya, Daiki Inaba, and Yohei. In an excellent six-man matchup that was passionate, of course. How could it not be? Daiki Inaba now losing his mind. He has been injected with passion so much. I think somebody ground Naonai Takahashi up in a blender and forced him to drink it. This guy's just completely out of his mind with passion, wild passion for professional wrestling. Didn't really help him here, but he looks good. It's like I think someone took Daiki aside and said, look, we'll bring you back to Noah. We'll bring you in again. But you got to show something. You're kind of bland. You're kind of boring. You're not getting over. You're a good wrestler, but you need to be more than that. And he's taken that to heart, and he's lost his mind in this passion business. I'm not even saying it's bad, but wow, he's really got it turned up to 1,000. But all six of these guys look great against each other. This is a feud that is working. It's not a blood feud. You don't feel like they hate each other, but it is a feud that feels like both teams are trying to prove they're the best faction, the best unit in Pro Wrestling Noah. Of course, Team 2000X over here raising their hand saying, hey, we've got that in the bag, and maybe they do. But Kano, Ulka Sasaki, and Kenta are a pretty damn good faction, as are Soya, Inaba, and Yohei, along with the others in the Passionate Ratels. But like I said, this match was back and forth, fought very well. We had Keno in there doing what he does, hitting those knees from the top rope, stacking opponents up in a pile and jumping off of them from the second rope, from the top rope with his foot stomps. And that's actually what gave the win to Keno, Sasaki, and Kenta. Was a big professional foot stomp PFS from the top rope onto the Passionate Daiki Inaba, driving all of that out of him. It didn't matter how much he had in him. It all came pouring out with that finisher from Keno, giving the win to Keno's team, Ulka Sasaki and Kenta. Again, I like this. This could have been a main event, honestly. I just thought it worked really, really well. There was nothing bad about it. When it was over, of course, we had Manabu Soya come in the ring. He's upset. He isn't really happy to have lost this. And of course, his partner, Saxon Huxley, came running in as well. Got face-to-face, nose-to-nose with Kenta and Ulka Sasaki. They want to challenge for those titles. And I don't speak Japanese, but it seemed pretty clear to me that Kenta was like, you got it. You got it. And they came to fisticuffs once again. And that's a match we've got coming up soon. Huxley and Soya versus Keno and Sasaki. That will be amazing and absolutely must see for the GHC Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Can't wait for that one. On to the semi-main event we go. This was a good match, but ended how I kind of feared it would. I'm talking about Ozawa and Daga, Team 2000X, taking on the former Team 2000X member, Tetsuya Endo, and his partner, Naomichi Marufuji. Good partner, genius of the arc, chosen by Endo to take on his former stablemates. And this was pretty tight, pretty solid, pretty enjoyable to watch until the end. Now, I don't really want to complain because I understand the point of this. I know wrestling today is broken down into fans understanding the magic and the booking and the systems and how everything behind the scenes works. Sort of annoying, sort of takes some of the fun out of discussing professional wrestling, right? Because I want to sit here and I want to talk about how those dastardly heels ruined the end of this match by just rushing the ring, and every member of Team 2000X attacking Endo and Marufuji, including Yoshitatsu, getting in there and using their police billy club or whatever you want to call it to beat down on Endo and try to teach him a lesson. Because that's what this was about, right? This was about Team 2000X not really caring about who won, but only caring about getting a shot at their former friend and partner, sort of like a mob, right? Sort of like the Italian mob here in the United States is known for. They will get you, they will take you out, right? They will, they'll put a hit out on you, if you will. Now, of course, they didn't kill him, but they just took turns, and as a group, beating down Endo, getting in his face, to the point at the end of the match that Ozawa actually put his foot on him, draped a Team 2000X over his prone body, put a foot on him, and cut a promo while he laid there prone at his feet. So I get it. This is to make our bad guys, our heels, be as dastardly as they could be, and they need that, to tell you the truth, because a lot of fans are cheering Ozawa. That's how it works today. Big-time heels, cheaters, underhanded scumballs are cheered because they have charisma. Because a lot of the times in today's wrestling, the heels have way more abilities in ring, on the mic, and in charisma than most of the baby faces. And that is the case with Tozawa here. He just has something special, and the fans recognize it. But they get disqualified, giving the win to Endo and Marufuji. But the winners really are the losers because they stood tall here. Team 2000X, as we get ready for a season of Ozawa fighting off Endo for the GHC Championship. And that's what this match is really putting over. This is to make the fans just anticipate more and more Endo getting his shot at this underhanded scumball Ozawa. He will do anything to come out on top. And that was the beginning of this story, if you will. And this is how stories are told or should be told in pro wrestling, and that is inside the ring. And this, at least, did a very good job at that. We're at the main event, May 24th, 2025, Pro Wrestling Noah Sunny Voyage. It was for the GHC Junior Tag Team Championships as Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf defended against the passionate Rattels Hayata and Kikuchi, Yuto Kikuchi, if you will. Great matchup, solid main event, back and forth. Maybe a little bit too many false finishes, but that's professional wrestling today, especially junior heavyweights, cruiserweights, whatever you prefer to call them. They're junior heavyweights and Noah. But still, very, very good, very enjoyable. Look, Noah is where I turn to for wrestling done right. What do I mean by that? I mean by wrestling that isn't cornball, isn't goopy, isn't slapstick, isn't gaga, isn't an all-night variety show, stuff like that. And matches like this prove my point. Prove that wrestling done right, modern day wrestling even. I'm not talking about some of the old school stuff that I wish and pray to God was still around. But new school wrestling is done right by Noah. Again, some false finishes towards the end, the last 5 minutes or so, that were, in my book, a little ridiculous, but in today's wrestling world, pretty much the norm. Before that, what I appreciated most about this match is that it wasn't near as much flipping and diving as I thought it would be. Now, there was plenty flipping and diving. I'm not saying there was not, but sometimes my concern in matches like these is there will be far too many. It seemed like Dragon Bane and Yuto Kikuchi were competing as to who could flip the most when it was happening. But for the most part, there were a lot of kicks and strikes in this match, which I appreciate. And there were some actually wrestling holds, grab a hold, kid, and hang on. There was some of that in this matchup, which pleasantly surprised me. This match was very even. You didn't know who was going to win. If you went into this match saying you knew who was going to win, by the middle of this match, you were on the edge of your seat worried that your prediction would be wrong. And that's when I know, another reason I know, that a match is good. There's nothing I dislike, well, other than comedy and gaga, but something else I dislike in wrestling is when it's too predictable. When you know the results before the match happens, and that's exactly what happens. That wasn't happening on this match or on this entire show. Hayata and Kikuchi looked primed to win these titles, 4 or 5 times at least throughout this match. And Bane and Wolf looked prime to retain well before they did. The match was a little long. I don't got the official time on it, but it had to be close to 30 minutes. I think, in the 20s at least. And not bad. It's not really a complaint, but I thought it could have ended a little bit sooner than what it did. But again, false finishers, right? You got to have a lot of them in today's wrestling. But overall, very good match. The champions retain when Dragon Bane hits his finisher. Not out of nowhere, but it sort of seemed to come shockingly as him and Kikuchi fought back and forth to see who could end the other one first. And it was Dragon Bane coming out on top. And the Los Coboldores, I struggle to say that, sorry, win and retain and are looking for new challengers. Who will they be? I don't know, but I'm sure it will be exciting whenever they face off because, man, Bane and Wolf can get it done in the ring for sure. This match was solid. I enjoyed this very much. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Not because there was anything really wrong with it, but it just wasn't the greatest show I've seen in Noah. But it was 9 out of 10. It's still very, very good, very, very enjoyable, and very much recommended. There is another show that Noah filmed prior that they made available, I think, yesterday. I also got the Monday Magic show. So I think I'm going to skip the show that Noah just made available, at least for now. And I'm going to go right into Monday Magic. Hopefully sometime this evening, I'll have my thoughts up on Monday Magic, a really good, typically really good, almost television style program that Noah puts on several months throughout the year. Like, it has a season, it ends, and then comes back, and it is back. And the first show, from what I can tell, looks pretty good. And the second show they're already advertising looks pretty good. So I'll be talking about that soon. But again, 9 out of 10 show, very enjoyable. Check it out. You can't ever really miss with Pro Wrestling Noah.